Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. If you're looking for jewelry that makes an impact on your self-care routine and your style, Empowerography would love to offer you a discount code to one of our exclusive partners, Quartz & Canary Jewelry and Wellness Company. Please use code EMPOWER15 to receive 15% off upon checkout at www.quartzandcanary.com. Quartz & Canary is truly the place where spirituality meets style. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Stéphanie Rourke Jackson. She is the owner and founder of Beacon Coaching and Leadership. How are you doing today, Stéphanie?
I'm doing very well, Brad. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much for agreeing to be here as a guest and share a bit about your story and your journey, and for being part of the Empowerography community. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So let's jump right in. As I mentioned, you are the owner and founder of Beacon Coaching and Leadership, a wife, and last but certainly not least, a mom. Now, you got your start in the fashion world. Can you tell us a bit about that part of your life and what it was like for you working in fashion and why you left that world behind?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think it all started when I was about 12 years old. My dad came back from New York City and brought me a fashion magazine. I think it was 17 or some sort of
I remember those magazines.
Right? And I just was enthralled. I pored over that thing page by page numerous times and was just extremely fascinated by the world of it. Not that it was mysterious or even fantasy, but that it was a reality and that people could express themselves in such an artistic way. Because not being, a talented musician or an artist per se myself, I kind of found this category or genre of artistry just beautiful. And I suddenly became a junkie, pretty much buying every magazine every month. And spending, I don't want to even estimate.
Yeah, if you had that money now, right?
Probably bought a few properties with that kind of investment. But anyway, we all have our interests or addictions. I don't know.
Yes.
But it satisfied such a beautiful experience inside me. And I just wanted to be part of that world. So that's how it started. And then I just continued. I dressed up in my mother's clothes. I would go over to my friend's house. I would, encourage them to let's go to your mother's closet and dress up in her clothes.
So you were the bad influence.
Clothes. Oh yeah. I was definitely a rebel and nobody could tell me otherwise. And just, the accessories and the style of the fashions throughout the ages and how it changed and how a woman could express herself by, just changing her clothes or her shoes or her jewelry. Mm-hmm. And that she could be, she could be unique and she could express on the outside what she may be feeling on the inside. So I just loved it. The colors, the change of seasons, the rules, and then breaking the rules.
There's that rebel.
Yeah. And it just continued, throughout high school. And I went to a Catholic high school. So it was co-ed, but right. we were uniformed and they were the ugliest, awfulest. I mean, honestly, it was cobalt blue and bright yellow, truly not a beautiful pattern. But I would, again, the rebel spirit in me would always try to push the limits on that. And I would wear my tree-torn sneakers and my Lacoste little socks. And I would try to get away with a Lacoste alligator, polo shirt. Mm-hmm. So I was always changing it up and trying to make it my own, but make a statement through that.
Right.
And then I worked at Eaton's Pepper Tree. So for those of you who don't remember Eaton's, it was like the Bay.
Yeah, I remember Eaton's.
And then Pepper Tree was kind of their youthful, sort of young adult women's section. And I would just, again, play dress up, right? Changing the mannequins, merchandising the tables, fluffing it up, and not like a fluffer in another term, but I did love also seeing, girls and women come and put something on and then walk out and look at themselves in the mirror and you can see the shift in the confidence and oh man. And I would just I would light up and I was like, hey, try this. And then of course, in the beginning it would be like, no, I can't, or, resist it. And then suddenly they're like, oh, okay, yeah, let me try that. And I felt this empowerment in myself to be able to give them something that made them feel better and confident about themselves. And then I also had a nighttime job at a shoe store. So I'd run down the hallway at Scarborough Town Center and work at Feathers. And again, the same thing. Somebody would put on a pair of shoes and there was a lift, right? The head went up, the shoulders went back. They just sort of stood there and you could just see them imagining themselves in their prom dress or, their work outfit or going out on a date. And I got to know people by asking them questions while they were doing this and little bits of their story. And it let me feel like I was part of their story, their journey.
Okay. Now, what did you end up doing after that in terms of in the fashion world, and why did you leave it behind?
Right. So I did professionally work in it.
Okay.
I went after high school, girlfriends and I went to Europe for the summer, a few months, and which was beautiful from a fashion perspective and just an adventure and journey and a passage of life, I guess, because I was 19 and turned 20 while I was there. Came back and went to the Fashion Institute of Canada, where I graduated with a merchandising diploma.
Right.
And so not design. I was never I hated sewing machines. That was not my thing. But to support designers and to connect people with fashions and to be part of sort of the magazine media world, that was my calling. Okay. So I graduated and immediately was hired into a manufacturing designer company downtown. 7th Avenue is New York's version of which is Mecca, but Toronto's version was Spadina, also known as the Schmutta business. And I started working in factory. We had a second level, which was, the offices and the showroom and the designer suites. And then our 8th floor was, actually where there were sewing machines and production happening. And you could see things come to life from design on an illustration by the designer to prototype to manufacture to ship it out. And I did all of it. I was a sales and marketing assistant. And I did work with stores, with buyers, with media. And I just fell in love with all of that. So I would attend fashion shows and runways. And at the time, FT, the host, Jeannie Becker, had just started. And so really putting Toronto on the map and such amazing Canadian designers. And I loved it. It was one of those, pinch me, I can't believe I'm living and working my dream.
Yeah.
For many years. And I did several different things. I moved my way up. I became a manager of a designer, opened stores, did a lot of media work. I ran my own company for a little while.
Oh.
And did supported and also promoted other designers and doing public relations, and photography shoots. Oh, that was so much fun. You go on vacation, and this is before digital. So, you'd have to take the camera and then we'd pour over all of the thousands of pictures with a little loop and look at it and what was the angle and what we were going for. And so the whole marketing aspect of what did we want to put out there into the world and what were our customers or these women, what were they desiring and trying to marry and match and, put that together, which is marketing really is an idea, a service, a product, and then match it with a demand customer, a person who could benefit from it.
Right.
And so I did that for 25 years and eventually worked at a magazine. I worked for Fashion Magazine and Wedding Bells, downtown Toronto for 10 years. And I loved it. Like, I totally loved it until I didn't.
Right.
And when I didn't, that caused such a tension within my soul. And I just felt like, and it wasn't my boss, it wasn't the atmosphere, it wasn't the work situation. Something shifted and changed. And I couldn't align what was happening inside with what was happening outside. And I just felt, I felt it outside of my integrity.
Right.
Probably the best way I can explain it. Yeah.
It just wasn't feeding your soul anymore. It didn't light you up.
Yeah, it didn't. Fashion still did, style still did, but working there didn't, because of a personal situation in my life.
Okay. Now, you're said to naturally be a curious problem solver who guides ambitious people in teams to generate new ideas, grow their confidence, and crush limiting beliefs and discover their full potential. Why have you decided to personally make this your mission? Why is this so important to you?
Yeah, that is totally a descriptor of who I am. And I think you can hear some of that in, my previous work, just a marketer. And I'm fascinated by humans. I love seeing potential in people. I'm a true believer that every single person has a destiny, has an impact that they solely can make in this world, and that they have so much potential within them. And it makes me sad when they're held back from it. And I want to help them to see and become aware of their identity. So fully who they are, their shine quality and their shadow side, and the things that stress them out and hold them back. And then how to actually empower themselves to shift so that they can have success in what their dreams and calling and goals and visions are for their life.
Love it. When did you found Beacon Coaching and Leadership?
So let's just backtrack to that moment where I felt outside of my integrity. And I think, I know you have other questions, but I think this is probably going to answer maybe 10 questions all in a row.
All right, sure.
So about 9.5 years ago, I had a major shift in my life. And I think that we all have these moments, these sort of, come to the end of ourselves moments where we have to make really important decisions that change the trajectory of our life. And sometimes they feel really heavy and hard, but I believe that they are meant for us in order to grow us and change us and help us become the person we truly are. So all that to say, I had a devastating experience personally in my marriage. My husband of 19 years at that time came home to reveal that he was having an affair.
Oh my gosh.
No idea about. Yeah, it's, and I'm sure that there are many people, maybe listening to your podcast that have experienced some level of betrayal, infidelity, unfaithfulness, cheating, whatever you want to call it, in their life. And it is not a good place to be in. So it was unexpected. It was totally, I mean, if we were having, a shitty marriage and things had been bad for a long time, then, it might not be as surprising or shocking.
Right. Yeah.
But this was one of those things that, no, not us, not me.
Just completely out of the blue.
Yeah. Not our marriage. There's no reason for it. And I was completely devastated. We were that couple that people would, often say, I don't know how you guys do it. What's the secret to your marriage? You're so happy. He loves you so much. It's so obvious. You have the perfect life. More on that later. And yeah, so it was just truly, like, honestly, Brad, it ripped my soul out from me.
I'm sure it did. How could it not?
Shattered my heart into a zillion tiny pieces. It flattened me. So, there was the full gamut of grief was not lost on me. I experienced all the stages over and over and over again. And for anybody who's been through the grieving cycle or stages, they are not linear, but you do move through them all, and shock, anger, bargaining, extreme sorrow and sadness, until finally acceptance, and then also having attached some meaning to it and hope, for the future. But I mean, I say it really quickly, but for sure, it is not that doesn't happen in a moment or even weeks or months.
Right.
It's years, right? It's years to recover from trauma. Betrayal trauma is the same as any other kind of trauma. So yeah, I hit the ground and I was flattened. And at that point, this is where I felt that I was no longer in control of my life, of the illusion of what I thought my life was. I was confused. I was in a fog. I literally felt like I was falling with absolutely nothing to grab onto, like nothing. And all I wanted to do was to hit the bottom, like hit so hard so I felt something, but I just kept falling. There was so much I couldn't figure out, so much he couldn't tell me, so much that we were both in sort of this mysterious pre-fall of. And what I recognized in it was that I had held on to some images or some ideals of what I wanted my life to look like,
right?
And I bought into it for so long that this now ripped me, and I was at rock bottom. I had nowhere else to go but up, and so I started to rebuild my life, and I attempted to go back to work every day downtown, clearly with such difficulty, honestly, to sit there and pretend like everything was the same. Everybody seemed like they were, doing the same thing, and that I was screaming inside, like, don't you see me over here? Nothing is the same. You idiots, walking around like as if nothing really mattered. Like it was so, I mean, COVID is a different situation because we're all feeling it at the same time. We're all experiencing it. But when a loved one or somebody dies or something happens to your life, and everybody seems to go on and, whistle through the day and just do their thing and smile and get their coffee and go into the workplace and chit chat by the water cooler, you can't put it together so that it makes sense. So thankfully, I had a good boss and a good HR department that gave me lots of time to heal and recover and do all that we needed to do. But I suddenly looked around me at this industry, and all I saw was a false ideal. Right. And I think, and not to say that it is, because it certainly is not. It's a very solid, very lucrative, very important industry. But suddenly I didn't fit anymore. I didn't fit. And
well, your whole world just changed.
Yeah. And I just didn't fit in that idea anymore, because I felt like that was part of my mask, what I had been showing to the world for a long time. And also upholding other people's expectations, whether that was family or people who wanted me to be in that place and play that part. Yeah. And I now had a chance to start over and to really dig into who I was and what I wanted. And I, apart from, doing counseling, going to recovery groups and all of that, I also sought the counsel, the work of a life coach, because I thought, okay, if I can figure out what kind of job I want to do next and what kind of career I want to pour myself into, I'll feel better, because this is not it. And I went to her, and it was revolutionary, because she said, I can help you. We can do some assessments. We can run some ideas of, types of work that would be fulfilling and suitable for who you are. But I don't think that that's where we need to start. I think we're going to just start with you. And she just asked so many powerful questions and got me to really dig deep and go into myself. And I left every session bawling my eyes out, not because it was hard and I hated it, but because I was finding myself again. I was finding parts that I had shelved and lost because of the expectations that I had placed on myself, that I felt others needed me to be so that I could be liked, so I could be popular, so I could fit in, so I could be this type of person that I don't know. Nobody was really necessarily expecting me that, but I bought into a lie, and I just felt free. I felt such freedom to be me.
That must have been an incredible feeling to have that. It must have been like 1,000-pound weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah, that's it. That's so much what it was about. And I was given permission to really, in the space of just between me and my coach, just, let out some of the things that I'd never shared with anybody, let alone myself, but with anybody else. And I was liking it. And she let me be there. And she even allowed me to go deeper into my grief and to find out some of the places in my life where I had experienced, the kind of the worst fears, and also put language around it. I recognized at that time that my worst fear was being rejected.
Right.
I had to go back to the time that I first felt it to basically rescue myself out of that situation and let my 9-year-old self know that, hey, you know what? You didn't have to be embarrassed or, wear the shame of that. You made it. Like, you figured it out. You became resourceful. You are not stupid. You can have a life where you don't feel like everybody's laughing at you, and you don't have to mask it in order to do it. You can be you. And it was just such a powerful exercise, again, freeing. And so I was discovering these things about myself and also sharing them with my husband. And we would, do that in counseling as well.
Right.
Just having these deep, meaningful conversations. And then at the same time, he was learning about himself and allowing himself to be open to the things that had happened, also in his past, and things that he had, he had mastered. I mean, that's his own story, so I'm not going to share.
Yeah, of course.
But just having that ability for us to say, hey, if we're going to make this work, we need to get to the why. Like, why did things fall apart? How did we drift so far apart? How we were so blinded to think that we had this sort of perfect marriage. And honestly, we did. We had lots of happy moments, even during that time, which is so crazy to think about, during the time of his affair, that we were still, having some romantic interludes and having family time and laughing. And it seems so crazy that can exist at the same time. But we humans are really good at compartmentalizing.
Yes.
We can shut things down. We can shove things, way to
lock it away in a room, and it stays there until you open that door again.
Exactly, like the recesses and the bowels of our soul. And what I share with my clients too, and what I've learned is it does you no good to shove it down. It might feel good in the moment, like, okay, great, I'm relieved of having to deal with it or see this. But that you shove down negative emotions or thoughts or things that you're doing, they just go down to the basement and lift weights, and then it comes back stronger at an inappropriate time.
That's a great analogy, actually.
Right?
Wow.
And you see people explode, and it's like, well, where did that come from? Years of shoving down your emotions and your inability to confront and challenge and change, the way things are happening, who's doing something to you, that you're not actually realizing your own need in that situation. You're not being transparent, truthful, honest. And when you can, that again is so freeing. Yes, there might come with some consequences. Yes, it might feel ugly in the moment. But the relief that you feel as being allowed and have permission to share your truth and your beliefs, and that the world actually doesn't open up and suck you down. You don't die from it.
You won't fall into the earth. This too shall pass, right?
Oh, such a good expression. I know you have that question coming down here, but yeah, we don't die. In fact, what happens is we actually gain strength, and we gain the power, our own power, to be able to live the life that we want and who we are in it. And then have the permission again to be able to change it. Like sometimes our beliefs do change, and that's
for
okay,
sure.
right?
Absolutely, 100%. Stephanie, so would you say then that those coaching sessions that you went through to get through and deal with your personal struggles, would you say that those were the catalyst or the springboard for you to enter into the world of coaching and become a coach to help other people?
It was part of it. So my trajectory and journey to becoming a coach didn't happen in that moment. It was a couple of years later. And I think that all of us can weave together our stories with moments.
Right.
You know, little moments that may seem insignificant right then, but when we collect them and then we sew them together, we can see, oh, of course, this was leading me towards something different, or to this
something bigger
this time. Yeah. So the journey to becoming a life coach happened, as I said, a few years later. So after that experience, I continued to do, to work in the fashion industry and to, piece together my life again, be a mama and to be, a wife and to rebuild a new marriage and to be a friend, with definitely a much more openness and a thirst for truth and transparency in all things. And one day, I was just sort of complaining, I guess, about my, or let's call it venting, because that's such
let's call it venting. Complaining is a negative word. Let's say venting.
To a friend of mine at church, actually, and she had a similar role, marketing role in a media company, and also felt dissatisfied in it. And she was telling me that she was a career coach, and so she had changed and she had done this career coaching, and she was working with a college at the time. And she just said, like, one word to me, 3 little letters. She goes, "I think you should check out CTI," and that was it. Not like, here you go, or I'll text you the link, or, all of
just
that.
Just in passing kind of thing.
Yeah, just kind of that. She sort of looked at me with her head, kind of cocked to the side, listening to what I was saying very thoughtfully. And then she said, "Yeah, you should check out CTI." So that was a Sunday. Monday, I got to my desk at work and I Googled it. I love the Googler. And so I read through it and found myself signing up, slapping down thousands of dollars. And then I told my husband, which is something that we never do. Like, we always, converse about spending money, especially big
purchase like that. Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe life-changing.
Yeah.
Altering.
In more than one way.
Yeah. And I said, "Hey, I just did this." And he's like, "Wow. Okay. Why?" And I'm like, I don't really know. I feel compelled towards it. So and I said, "Oh, also because, I'm a little bit frugal." I was like, "Well, if I don't like the first session, the first course, I can get my money back." He's like, "Oh, okay, that sounds good."
Yeah.
So I went to it and, did my training for 5 months downtown Toronto. And I was aghast, first of all, because coming from, a very savvy high-tech media company that, is all about innovation. And I walk into this room with like literally 17 people sitting in a semicircle around each other with a flip chart with your PowerPoint presentation
from years gone by.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And Brad, literally in the first 20 minutes, I was bawling my eyes out. I'm like, okay, this is what people need. This is the thing that's going to change the world. It was just conversations about real life. And it was questions to get people to think deeper and to come outside of themselves and to connect vulnerably. This is way before I even heard about Brene Brown, but vulnerably with their own experience of life, and to be courageous enough to show their heart and to talk about things that are, their deep joys and their deep fears. And, and we created this safe space, and there was trust that was built. And of course I was craving trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? After it's been broken, you crave it so much. And I just thought, this is magical. I don't know what this is here, but I think I found my place in the world.
You found your purpose.
Yeah. And I started, so once I graduated from there, and several leaders said to me, Stephanie, like, just start. Just go do this. Like, I was like, so do I need to do a website? How do I, establish my business? Now what's the next course? Like, what's my business plan? They're just like, just start. And I thought, oh my God, I don't know if I can do that. Like, it doesn't seem, there isn't like a roadmap.
Yeah.
How am I legitimate? Don't I need to have all the letters after my name? Don't I need to be more accredited? Don't I more experience in education and all of those things? I don't think I'm enough. And that stems back to
imposter syndrome.
Exactly. And my 9-year-old self, having this devastating experience at school, thinking that I'm the stupidest person. And all of that comes flooding back. And I'm like, no, if they told me that I can, then I'm just going to do it. And my husband also encouraged me. He's like, it'd be really awesome if you could, because I was already having these coffee chats and conversations. And going back to one of your previous questions, all of my life, I realize now, connecting the dots, even in my childhood, my younger siblings would come to me with their problems, with their things that they were struggling with, friends at school. Can I just talk to you for a second? Can you just listen to what I'm saying? When I started working, it was like they close the door of my office and sit down. I'm like, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, it's personal. I'm like, oh, okay. And people seem to gravitate to me, and I would listen, but I'm not, I don't want to sound harsh, but I'm not sympathetic. I'm not a sympathetic person. I've learned the discipline of empathy and compassion. It's not part of my natural identity, but I've learned the discipline, and I know how important it is to have that. But I would listen to them objectively and then start asking questions. Like, I look around the problem for possible solutions. And then I would actually help them own it and then commit to doing something about it.
So you realized you were born to do this. This is it. Like you said, you found your purpose, your mission in life. It's an incredible feeling though. It's you can't even describe it, to be honest.
No. And but you sense it, right? There's a visceral reaction.
Yeah.
Then when you can say, wow, this, and what is it? I need to be able to describe it and put language around it so that I can make it real. That's what was happened during the process of, getting my certifications and then living it out. I'm an experiential person. I'm an auditory learner and experiential learner. As I, on, the encouragement of my husband, just started having coffee chats, and I actually started charging people. So like, can I go with you? And I'm like, well, I've just completed this course as a life coach. I would love it if, you would be my guinea pig. And, but to make it real, I need to charge you $25. And I'm like, yeah, no problem.
See, that also stems from imposter syndrome as well, being scared to ask for the money and not knowing your worth and all of that stuff. It all starts within.
Yeah, but it did two things with that transaction. It validated to me my worth of being a coach, and it also gave the person the validation that they were worthy of spending money in order to help themselves.
Absolutely.
Through something.
This is real.
Yes, there's value to that transaction of money. It's not just, oh, I want to get income. This means something. And as soon as you put down there's a cost to it, right? There's an investment into yourself.
Yeah, for sure. How did you come up with the name Beacon Coaching and Leadership? Yeah,
I love that. I've always loved lighthouses. So the name came, it was sort of a divine spiritual experience, if I can share. So very soon after my husband had confessed about his affair, and we were, in the throes of brokenness and rebuilding, we did something normal, and we threw our teens in the back seat, and we went downtown Toronto to Nuit Blanche.
Mm-hmm.
Happens at the beginning of October, right? That beautiful art festival
all over the city. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I love it. Anyway, so we had them in the car. We were going down the DVP. We were listening to Justin Timberlake's Sexy Back. So certainly not, spiritual worship filled song. That's for sure.
No.
But this is how, it's just, things are meant to be, because you don't have to be in a particular situation for an intervention to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband's singing, he's a musician, so he's singing, the kids are in the back, and, it's a happy time. And I looked out the window and I just started bawling my eyes out. And I heard audibly, and I don't hear this very often. And I mean, people find their spiritualness in various things, and
mm-hmm.
it's God. And so I heard these words, and it was so clear, and it was, will you be a beacon for me, Stephanie? And it cracked me up, and I said, I will. And I had no idea what that meant. And I don't use that word. It's not like it's part of my vernacular. And I just said, I will. And I heard, stay with him and I will help you. And that was it. And I've clung to those words, and I have repeated that message over and over and over, when I wanted to call it quits, when I was done, when it was divorce, when I just didn't want it anymore, when I was finished with life, when just when I wanted
all of it,
everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
All feel this heaviness at some point. And it's not wrong,
Yeah.
So then fast forward years later, when I've completed my course, and at the, the encouragement of my leaders in CTI,
mm-hmm.
I just said, wow, I guess beacon coaching.
There you go. It's very appropriate.
It is, and it's meaningful to me, and I think it makes so much sense for what I do.
For sure. And you're a beacon of light for these people.
Exactly. And a lighthouse never moves.
That's right.
I am not running out to the middle of the ocean to rescue people.
No.
In their crisis or pain or struggle or whatever it is that they feel stuck in.
Mm-hmm.
I am not running out there to throw them the life preserver. I'm standing there, stable and strong,
grounded,
and exactly and courageously lighting them a pathway to help them get to shore.
Yeah, you're guiding them.
Exactly. I feel like that's what I do. I stand grounded. I am a place of hope. I am a beacon of light that helps them to see just the step in front of them and maybe a little bit more, and to feel courageous and empowered in themselves to just keep on moving forward through, the program that I've developed, through the exercises that we do together, through their own discovery about who they are and their potential, because they have to own it. So when I do my, the identity mapping program, that's really what it is. We are mapping out who you are so that you can live and thrive on the shoreline and the terra of who you are, so that you can put one foot in front of the other and then actually start running, and with arms abandoned, just embrace your life, all of it, the adversity that's going to come, the struggles that are going to come, but you are now empowered with a toolbox that you can manage yourself through it.
I love it. That was awesome. What excites or inspires you the most about coaching?
I think that part of when the light bulb goes off, and I call it aha. We all have these aha moments, and to me that's an acronym or an acrostic. AHA is when you gain awareness with honesty that moves you to action.
I love it.
So when I see my clients, and let's be real, I'm a coach all the time. I'm sorry, I just can't. It doesn't leave me.
It's part of your DNA. It's who you are.
Right. With my friends, with my kids, with my husband, whoever.
You can't turn it off.
I can't. And it's not like I'm, being like I'm trying to analyze them, and I'm not like, being a therapist.
Right.
I'm listening deeply, but I ask questions because I can see, and I have, I know that I have the gift of being able to sort of discern more deeply that there's something, what you're telling me is, yes, accurate and truthful, but there's something else going on. I'm not afraid to keep on digging deeper, and then, and tell me more, and what else, and what do you mean by that, and what's under that. And then when I hear people, I actually repeat it back to them using their same words. And there's literally tears, and people are astounded by, how did you get that? I said, because I'm listening to you, to what you're saying and not saying. And they feel heard, and they feel known, and they feel a sense of belonging.
That's all people want, is to be heard.
That's at the depth of every single human being.
For sure.
Except maybe a complete narcissist. But I am not a clinician, so I'm not even going to
we won't go down
there.
We won't go down that rabbit hole.
Most people, of course. And I had actually a client once who was asking me, she's like, I'm constantly getting pulled into these conversations where it's toxic and negative, gossip, and people are talking about it. She goes, why do people do that? I said, because it's a sense of belonging. Even if it's negative, as soon as you have somebody who is in agreement with you, it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive. As soon as you have a sense of like, whoa, I belong. I said, you can't go very far with only developing a relationship through negativity. Eventually it's vaporous, and it doesn't leave you feeling better. It leaves you feeling worse. But in the moment, there's a dopamine hit, and you feel like, oh, connected. The chemicals get released anyway, and you feel a sense of connection and a sense of belonging, a sense of being heard. It's desperate, and it's terrible, but it's still there. So yeah, people are looking desperately, and the need to try to fit in is so high amongst people, especially younger people, and people who don't feel confident in themselves, that need to fit in. You have to separate it. Am I just trying to fit in, or do I really feel like I belong? And the belonging part is, even if I mess up, even if you see my imperfections, even if you see my flaws, I trust and know that you're still going to love me anyway. And that is a different story, my friend. And that is what we all need.
Absolutely. Are there any specific tools or books that have really helped you on your journey?
Plenty.
Give me three.
Consumer of information. That's one of my strengths, actually. Well, I'll just go currently, because I'm reading a book by James Clear, Atomic Habits.
Okay.
Awesome. Anybody who wants to reach a goal, I would suggest you read his book. Go on his website. He's been on podcasts. Also, Brene Brown. Love her. She's one of my faves. Her books, Rising Strong, Gifts of Imperfection, Braving the Wilderness, and her podcasts, so helpful. Brenda Bouchard, high performing habits. And then other ones like, I love Liz Gilbert. Eat, Pray, Love. I love the movie. I love her books. I love her voice. I love her authenticity. Love Does by Bob Goff. If you want to just read some really fun, inspiring, magical stories about how to love people well, especially the creepy people, read Bob Goff. He's got 2 books, 3 actually, but I've read Love Does and Everybody Always. It really does help you to have a perspective on, how do I love the people who really rub me the wrong way, and who don't have the same opinions or beliefs as I do. It's so helpful.
Okay. To date, what would you say is your biggest high or your greatest win?
I would have to say having the courage to stay in my marriage when I had the opportunity to leave.
Yeah, that would be a big one. That's for sure. Okay. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
Transparency.
Speaking of success, how do you define success? What does that word mean to you, Stephanie?
I have defined this. At the end of the day, when I put my head on the pillow, I review and look for ways that I have been an encouragement to people. I just say, did I encourage at least one person today? And if the answer is yes, I just check it off. And anything else that, didn't get done or I didn't, feel went well, that ability to just encourage one person is enough.
Love it. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after learning it?
The courage to be able to share my story. I think that there is so much wisdom and so much growth that happens when you can take your pain and marry it with your passion. It's really that's the heartbeat of purpose. Mm-hmm. So where your pain and your passion collide, that's your purpose. And I think the ability to be able to share from your painful experience, and let me just add to that. Mm-hmm. When you've from a healed place,
right,
share your pain. Not only does it help you to continue to heal, and there is real evidence, real scientific neuroscience evidence that shows that as we share our stories, our painful stories of hurt and difficulty, adversity with another, we actually release that to somebody else and allow them in a trusted environment, of course, but we allow them to carry part of the pain that we don't have to feel burdened to carry it all ourselves. And the brain begins to heal. Those places where there's brokenness and dysfunction, they begin to heal. And I discovered that through the work of Dr. Dan Allender. He has a clinic, I think it's in California or Canadian East or West Coast. Mm-hmm. He has the Allender Clinic, and he started it primarily from the place, and I think it's from his own story of abuse as a young boy, sexual abuse, and how hard it is, especially for men, to share their story of sexual abuse when they were younger, the violation of that. And when they are able to share it, they heal. And I thought that was so powerful. And it's so true that when we actually come and have words around our pain and we let it out, the next time we say it, it becomes a little bit easier. And that's why when I talk about infidelity, I no longer have a heavy emotional attachment to it, although it's still a terribly, painful experience I want to go through again in my life. I am not emotionally attached in the moment because we have done the work to be able to share our story, and we know, and my husband shares it too. So I'm not doing anything behind his back. He shares it with men's groups, and we've done it together. And we also lead a marriage. We lead a marriage course called Marriage Oneness and help facilitate for stronger, healthier marriages. That when you are able to come out with your experience, your lived experience, it just empowers you so much more, and it also helps others.
That's incredibly powerful. Wow. Amazing. What makes you feel inspired or like your best self, Stephanie?
Having meaningful connections with people who are willing to share the messy bits.
And there are messy bits.
Yeah. Like, let's just be real about the messy bits. I mean, we don't have to belabor them, and we don't have to, live there. We don't have to be miserable and constantly be speaking about it from a place of victimization. But it just to be real. And I also really love and am inspired by people who can hold the tension of both of those, right? I have messy
Yeah.
and I have beautiful bits. I once heard Glennon Doyle say, life is beautiful. It's beautiful and it's brutal,
I
right?
love that.
The two can exist side by side. I can have pain and joy almost simultaneously, and that's okay.
Well, you can't have one without the other, though, because then if you don't have pain, then you can't appreciate the joy.
Exactly.
You can't have darkness without light. It's all, I mean, you need both. You need the yin and the yang.
Right. And accepting that is life, right?
For
And not
sure.
trying to push one away or chase after, the other
Yeah.
more ferociously. Like that's not going to give you happiness. Happiness
No.
is fleeting. Happiness is lovely to have, but I would never chase happiness, or I would never make that a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Happiness is buying a new car. Happiness is having my bathroom renovated. Happiness is a cup of coffee.
So many different things.
Right. But those don't look unsustainable and
Yes.
unrealistic to believe that you should or deserve to be in a place of happiness perpetually.
Well, things like that are like a high. It dissipates and it goes away, and then you just want it again, right? That's yeah.
Joy is deeper than that, and joy allows you to have stability even when you're grieving. There's such a deeper, like even when suffering, you can still choose joy in it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. What would you say is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
It's not what happens to you, it's how you respond.
I like that. Who have been 3 of the most influential people in your life?
Well, it changes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll go with the moment.
My husband.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, there's so many people that I appreciate and that do influence me. I don't want to. I'm not going to say real people because there's so many, and I know I'll leave somebody out. My kids do as a whole.
So they're another one.
Individually, but yeah, they absolutely do. I have a circle of really tight, good friends. And then I think, as far as people I don't know, or sorry, people who don't know me, but I know them because I stalk them on social media or whatever. I would say, Brene Brown, and also Sarah Blakely. I love her. She's the creator of Spanx.
Okay.
She's an incredible woman, human being, mom, entrepreneur, wife.
Okay. What do you think is one of the most common reasons for people giving up or failing?
I think when they don't actually understand themselves, when they're not willing to see the beauty and have allow themselves to feel that they are worthy and important. Because I think without you having a level of confidence, and I'm not talking about arrogance or boastful.
Well, those are 2 very different things, right?
No. But definitely having confidence that you matter, that who you are is not an accident, that there is validity and worthiness to your existence, that you have purpose, and part of your purpose is to, yes, have self-satisfaction and also to have meaning. And when you live from the sweet spot of your purpose, you actually provide meaning to somebody else. So I think people who don't have hope, yeah, that would be my answer.
Okay. What is one of your favorite quotes?
Well, you said one of them before. When things get really hard, man, I'm just like, yep.
Yeah.
You shall pass. Which I think speaks to an abundance mentality. Like there will be more things in life. We will experience, there's just so much out there that, keeps on keeping on.
Yeah.
yeah, that nothing is really honestly that hard. And if you have breath in your lungs and you woke up this morning, there's something out there for you to enjoy, and there's something out there also for you to get through, which also grows you, gives you more strength, gives you a learning experience. So yeah, I mean, I probably have so many of them. I'm just not thinking of them. Oh, I also love this one, and it's kind of like along the same vein. It's just like, oh, well, so what?
All right.
Oh, well, that happened. So what? What's next?
What's next?
Not much I can do. There's not much.
You're still standing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
It's when you decide to own who you are, and you actually go out and receive what somebody else has to offer. It's owning your power. It's saying, I am somebody who is worthy of a voice, of a life, of doing work that's meaningful. And it's being able to, even though you have some shortcomings and some shadow sides to your identity, that you also have so much shine and something to offer. When you empower yourself, it means you have a voice. You stand up, you have language, you have courage. You speak it.
You speak your truth. How has your life been different than what you'd imagined?
Well, when I was 12, I thought I was going to live in California. Don't live there.
No.
And I was also pretty good at creating a fantasy life, to be honest with you. And I think it was a real coping mechanism to protect me from pain, and that pain of rejection or perceived sense of rejection. Because I did have, some boyfriends earlier on in life, and had, some struggles with their, family of origin. Love my family, but like every family, there's some skeletons in the closet.
Yes.
All that. So I think I created a fantasy life, and because I was too afraid of really being authentic and being vulnerable, I didn't like to share my feelings. I didn't want anybody to feel sorry for me. I didn't want anybody to, to think I was weak, and to actually now live a true life of, who I am. I embrace the reality, all of it. And I like this right now. So, and I've completely forgotten what your question is.
How has your life been different than you imagined?
Oh, ADHD too. I also have. I think just that. I think that I had this ideal desire of sort of a life, but now recognizing that it was really a fantasy life, and being able to live in the reality of who I really am, and how my life really, like, I love my life. I love it. That's
amazing. Okay, we're going to do a little rapid fire section here. So I don't know, the next 8 or 9 questions will be 1, 2, 3 word answers. Okay.
Are you warning me, or?
Yeah. No, I'm telling
Brad,
you.
You've been asking me questions.
I'm telling you.
Telling. Okay. Right.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Whole.
What's the first thing you notice about a person?
Their smile.
What's the first thing you think of when I say the word future?
Hope.
What's your favorite stress-reducing activity?
Running.
What's one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Truth.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
You're amazing.
Entrepreneur life is?
Awesome.
I love that answer. If I had an extra hour a day, I would?
Just spend it with people I love.
Mom life is?
Brutal.
Brutiful.
No, brutiful. Thank you. It is brutiful. I am so glad to be a mom. Okay, I'm going to be more than one word answer here, but my little creatures, they actually are an exercise in patience.
I think all kids are, Stephanie.
Right? They are such a character building experience. Like, honestly, I'm telling you that they have, I'm sure that I have kids just so that I could be a better person.
Okay. My favorite way to unwind is?
Well, I currently am dry, so say a glass of wine, although I do appreciate that, especially with girlfriends or just, just like a charcuterie board, glass of wine, great conversation.
Beautiful. The last book or podcast I listened to or read was?
Yours, Brad.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Well, I prepped for today, so
I'm flattered and I'm honored.
Yeah, and I honestly, I totally loved your podcast with my friend Gabby from Copperwood.
Oh, yes, Gabrielle.
That's what turned me on to you. So, let's keep sharing the love.
Absolutely. She's an incredible woman.
Indeed.
If you came with a warning label, what would yours say?
Bullshit meter.
Last one of the rapid fire.
Okay.
If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what song would that be?
Oh, wow.
I've never heard of that song before.
Oh, geez.
Nor that one.
Well, I'm a big John Mayer fan, so I'd have to say it's probably one of his songs. I like the broody songs.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm going to have to say this is weird. People think this is really weird, but I do have a funeral song. And I know, right?
All right.
It actually encapsulates a lot of my life. So, and it's a worship song. Well, it's not really a worship song. It's by a band called Sidewalk Prophets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called I Want to Live Like That.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, when I run, I bawl my eyes out every single time. Sometimes it's on repeat 15 times.
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is one of your favorite entrepreneurial books?
I would say the Brendan Bouchard, High Performance Habits.
Okay. What's the most recent investment you've made in yourself?
I hired a coach to help me build my online course.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If you're writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
Becoming Mrs. Jackson.
If you could step into my shoes, what would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
You asked all the questions. Right. There's nothing left. I'm spent. Did a great job.
In a good way.
Exactly.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Oh, man. Love yourself before you give yourself away to a guy.
Very wise words, that's for sure. Lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like?
Figure out who you are, embrace your full identity, and live it out.
Short and sweet. I love it. Stephanie, thank you so very much for being here and sharing your story and bearing your soul in the way that you did here. And you are a true inspiration. And this conversation has been so amazingly inspiring, and just, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. It's like two friends chatting over coffee or having a drink, or it's been so great. I've so enjoyed this conversation and spending this time with you and learning about your story and what you're doing and what you've been through. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. The adversity and the challenges that you've overcome. You are a true inspirational woman, Stephanie.
Well, thank you, Brad. I'm crying now, so you can just end this. No, I really appreciate it too. I did feel like we were just two friends having a coffee, and we have chatted, but we've never actually even been, in the same room. So isn't it marvelous that people can connect so well just through their voice. And yeah, thanks.
Oh, thank you. Once again, my name is Brad Welsh, host of your Empowerography Podcast. My guest today has been Stéphanie Rourke Jackson. She is the owner and founder of Beacon Coaching and Leadership. Thank you so much, Stéphanie. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you have an amazing afternoon.
You too, Brad. Thanks.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at viseuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.